Hi, good evening. My name is Diana Valenciana. I'm going to be your therapist for all of the sessions if you continue and decide to continue them. Did you guys fill out your informed consent forms and the assessment that I gave you beforehand?
Yes, we did fill it out.
Can I have them, please?
Yes.
Do you guys have any questions regarding any of the forms or the assessments or anything like that?
No questions.
No, pretty straightforward.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't ask for your name. So your name is Alma, right?
Yes, Alma Fernandez.
Alma Fernandez and Steven Fernandez. Right, so how's your day going? How's it going so far?
It's going good. Hopefully it'll get better.
Was there a lot of traffic coming into the office?
Yes, we did get stuck in traffic. It was a very testing moment.
But it's good that you guys are here, right? Okay, so let's start with the question that everyone always asks. Why did you guys decide to seek couple counseling?
Well, on my end, I feel like it's just that there's a lack of communication. Like, we've been married for 2 years, and I feel like I still have to jump through hoops. I feel like I still have to kind of use context clues to see what is going on, and I feel like at some points, I have to beg him to tell me what's going on. And it's like, if there's a problem, I want to fix it. Like, I can't fix it, but I don't know what it is. So it's kind of really frustrating on my end to try to do that. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And for you, Steven, what do you think is the problem that's going on?
Admittedly, it is the communication. I know sometimes I don't always voice my concerns, and I kind of let it pile up until it's kind of a bigger problem than it originally was. So that's something that, again, we've been together 2 years. I know I have a lot of work to do in that department, but yeah, we're hoping to seek some solutions. Hopefully this helps us.
Okay, perfect. So what caused you guys to call for an appointment? Like, what was the thing that motivated you to be like, you know what, like, this is it, we need therapy, let's call?
Well, my breaking point was the fact that I feel like I would do kind of exercises with him where, okay, since talking to me is not okay, then maybe you can write me a letter about how you feel. And if, honestly, it feels like this entire time I've always been fixing the problems. Okay. Like, if there's a problem, I'm the one that always fixes it. If there's XYZ going on, I'm always the one that fixes it. And I feel like at this point, you know, it's just too much for me. We've been together for like 5 years, married for 2. It's like a lot already. So I did tell him, like, here's the problem. For once, you fixed it. So I'm happy that he took this route because, you know, it's nice to have a good third-person point of view of our relationship. But yeah, I'm so sorry. What was the question?
No, you answered correctly. Thank you. Steven was the one who called in for the appointment.
Yes.
So what motivated you to call for the appointment?
Again, I want to make sure that we're strong together. I don't want to keep having this issue where I'm the one kind of having these issues. It goes unnoticed, and again, like she said, she usually does remedy it, but it's like it's not equal parts of us putting it in. She's definitely putting in more than I am. So I want to strive to meet her halfway. Okay,
perfect. So tell me a little bit about your relationship. Like, how did you guys meet? Like, why did you guys get married?
Well, we met at work. He stood out right away because he was really tall, and also because he was very overdressed for the occasion. It's for orientation at a call center. But I really cute because he had like a COVID mask on and his little ears would stick out, and that was really, really cute. And I was just looking for ways to reach out to him, and I figured it out, and I did, and now we're here. As to why we're married, I don't know, why are we married?
I couldn't keep waiting. I know I've never been the best for timing, but I was getting the feeling that if I don't do this now, I'm gonna lose you forever.
Yeah.
So, and I was right.
Okay, so tell me some positive things about your marriage.
I feel like I'm very comfortable with him. I feel like he keeps me really grounded. Like, I feel like before him I was very, you know, just a loose cannon, just being fired everywhere. Like, not job-wise, but like in general. And he keeps me grounded, you know, like, I feel like, you know, back in the days, you know, whatever happens, but now it's like, okay, it's more more calm. I feel very zen with him.
Okay. And for you, Steven, what are your strengths that you think that you guys have as a couple?
I feel like although there is that communication barrier that we're overcoming, we do have a general understanding of what's expected from each other. Like even simple things like for chores, like I've already come to the agreement that I don't mind doing dishes. She doesn't mind, tidying up the house, keeping things, going while I'm not here. And that just works for us. Again, it was an unspoken thing that we kind of just keep adopting, and it just works.
So it's like you guys balance each other out. Like you guys know that this is your role, and you guys are doing it because to help out the other, to make the other happy, and eventually to make the whole relationship better,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so what are the things that are the hardest for you aside from communication? Do you think that's the only thing that you guys have struggled with, or is there something else that you guys feel like it's not entirely there?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go first?
I feel like on my end, it's initiating like plans. I know that she always is the one to make plans for us to do things. I kind of, I agree to them, but I've never really set a date for most things, which again I've done better at recently, but it's still something that I, consciously make an effort to do.
Okay, and why do you think it's so hard for you to make plans?
I guess it was like a fear of rejection at the start. Like, I don't think she'd like turn anything down, but it's like, I don't know, it was just like hardwired into me since I was young that like I just would rather not hear a no, so I don't bother asking.
Okay. And how does it make you feel hearing that from his side?
Well, it's new. I've never heard of that, about his fear of rejection. To me, the fact that he doesn't plan a lot in our relationship, again, I'm the one that's always making the plans and everything, it makes me sad that he thinks that I would ever reject him, because I mean,
you guys are married.
We're married, you know?
Yeah,
but it's just, I feel like it makes me really impatient. Like, for example, I'll be scrolling on TikTok or Instagram and I see like a really cute date idea, and I'll send it to him, hey, and then he ends up never asking me to go on a date. So it's like, okay, well, he never asked me. Clearly, I want to go. I'll just do it then. Either I go with him or I'll go with a friend, and because I'm impatient. But at the same time, it's like, why? I sent you this 3 months ago. We still haven't gone. Like,
So both of you guys are coming from a place of feeling rejected to a certain point, because if he doesn't invite you out, you don't feel wanted. We could say that,
yes.
Like you don't feel hurt. But at the same time, you're scared that she's gonna reject you. Maybe something that's not coming from her, but that you already had. Correct? Yeah. Is there something that she could do to make you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable?
I mean, like she said, she kind of spells it out for me. It's just the way I'm wired as well, is because like if you're telling me to do something, it's like it's not that much special anymore because you told me. I don't want to be like force-fed an answer. I want to come up with my own thing, but that's probably the struggle that I have.
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird because on my end, I don't feel like I'm telling you to. Like, I'm not saying, oh, do this, this, and that. It's like, hint, hint. Like, oh, like, that's a really nice lamp. Be really cute if we had it in our house. Right? And you'd just be like, yeah. And just walk away, and it's like, okay.
Okay, so when she gives you these hints, do you get them? Like, do you understand that what she's trying to tell you, or do you see like, oh, it's a lamp, yeah, it's pretty? Like,
no, I do. I save it in my mind, but it's like it still feels like, oh, this is the answer, and it's like I need to come to it myself because it's not special anymore. That's the way I see it.
So you want to be the one who initiates it, like you want to be the one who comes out.
I want to be like. It's because I feel like I have this element of like I like surprising people. I don't like to have it like, like, oh, I know it's like this is how it's gonna be. Like I like to be like, hey, surprise, we're doing this.
Yeah, of course, it makes a lot of sense because we all want to feel like that, right? So you ultimately want to impress her.
Yeah.
But like in your own little way.
But you're too cunning.
Impatient, and I'm really impatient. So. It is a thing that I am trying to work on my end. I didn't get road rage in the traffic today.
Positive. Well, I mean, it would also be very good for you to maybe lay down a little bit, like let him breathe a little bit instead of telling him like, hey, like, maybe this would be cool. Like maybe you could do some of them. Like you could start some of the dates and you set them up. And others you could just be like, hey, like I want to go on a date, and let him be the one who plans the date. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like letting him know, like, hey, like I want to go on a date, and giving him maybe some time now that he knows that it's an issue. Giving him some time for him to plan it out, because ultimately he does want to surprise you.
Yeah.
And he wants it to be special for you as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
maybe that's something that we could work on
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I want you to imagine a scenario. It's a weird scenario, but just imagine it. So imagine you went to bed, and when you woke up, like the next morning, all of the issues that you guys have in your marriage are gone. So what would be the issues that would be gone? Everything's fixed, everything's solved, everything that you want in this marriage is there. So what is those things that you are looking for in the marriage?
It would be very, very, I'm not sure, easier.
Okay.
Of course, like, you know, in a relationship there's ups and downs, but I do feel like it'd be a lot easier to communicate with each other for sure, where it's like, oh, I'm mad because of this. Oh, like our problems wouldn't be so long.
I feel like
They wouldn't drag as much.
directness.
Okay.
Yes, the more
Because
directness.
sometimes it's like I gotta come to the conclusion, or sometimes again it's phrasing, the way things are put. I don't know if she could be joking sometimes, but you know I kind of take it seriously, a bit too seriously to sometimes. But you know that's just me. I feel like if we woke up, it'd almost be like we had like a truth serum, you know.
Okay.
Like we'd say what we want to say, how we want to say it, and we wouldn't be like kind of tiptoeing around because of how someone else is gonna feel about it.
Okay.
That's how I feel it could be. There wouldn't be any guessing.
So everything would just be very straightforward, but at the same time not hurtful to one another, right? So just both of you guys would understand exactly what the other one is trying to communicate without maybe being aggressive. So how would a fight usually look between, or an argument or a conversation between you guys, where you guys are, let's say, arguing about the dishes. Let's say there was an argument about that. How would it usually look like?
Well, something that I did propose, because again, like it felt like him talking to me was hard, so I proposed we write letters to each other. So, also I feel like I lash out a lot when I'm really angry, so I don't want to say anything that I don't mean and hurt him. Okay. So I proposed the idea that, you know what, we'll just, there's a fight going on. Clearly we're both angry. We'll just take a moment and then we'll just write letters to each other. And it's like, hey, you know what, like this and that, and then we'll read it together. And we go like paragraph by paragraph. It's like a little book club where it's like, oh, in this paragraph you mentioned this. I'm really sorry I didn't mean to, like, cause that. What can we do to like work towards a solution? And I feel like that's been working well for us. But that's usually how it goes. So yeah.
So before writing the letters, how would it usually go?
Because writing the letters, it gives us time to put our thoughts together without saying anything we wouldn't mean. So beforehand, there's been times where I say something completely different that's not an issue, and then later on I bring up, well, this is why I felt upset. And when she comes to that realization that it was that and not something else, that's one step closer to our understanding. But again, beforehand, it was more like, this isn't the issue, but this is what's being brought up.
Okay, so you guys could be more honest in a sense, like come to terms with your feelings and be able to demonstrate it better to the other person.
Yeah, like for example, there was this one time where I love making fun of people, like with love, of course. To me, there's no bullying in a relationship, there's no friendship,
Okay.
I love playing around. And this one time, Steven was talking to me in Spanish, and he was stuttering. So, like, you know how, like, in Billy Madison, like, today, I did that to him, and I thought that was really funny, but he didn't, and he said that I always take jokes too far, and I had a receipt, like, all the times that he took jokes too far where I didn't say anything, and eventually he ended up to me, like, no, it's because, you know what, I was trying to speak Spanish, I'm not really comfortable speaking Spanish, and then you're making fun of me when I'm trying to make an effort. And it's like, oh, I'm the problem. So it's like, it extended the fight to a week because he said I take jokes too far, but I didn't know exactly what was the root cause of it. So it's like, okay, maybe I'm the problem.
Okay, so let me ask that, because I know you come from what's your culture again? Your ethnicity?
I'm Mexican.
Mexican. So I do have an understanding that Mexican families tend to joke a lot and tend to like make fun of each other, and kind of like that's the way that we express love, right?
Yeah.
Even in the cartoons and the kids show, it's something that is very common to see.
Mhm.
So you were exposed to that, I'm guessing, from a really young age. So
Yes.
for you, that's something very normal. But for you, Steven, like, did you have that type of environment at your house, or were things a little bit more serious?
No, they're definitely more serious. I mean, my parents they do come from Hispanic descent, but it's not like Mexican. It's like Puerto Rican, and definitely a different place. But yeah, I hadn't known that was like kind of just a culture, like how people interact. And again, like being with her for a while, like I thought that was just her personality. I didn't know if it was a cultural thing that's just socially accepted. So when that happened, it really felt like here I am trying to like connect with you more, and I'm met with ridicule.
Yeah, of course, and it makes a lot of sense. So for you, insults was like a way of showing love, and for you, insults were just insults.
Just felt insulting.
Yeah, it just felt insulting and hurtful. So knowing that about each other, how does that make you guys a little bit feel? Because you guys come from different backgrounds ultimately, and different ways of lifestyle, right? So how does that make you feel?
Well, now I think about it more before I make a joke. I try not to. Well, no, I try not to joke about whenever he tries to speak Spanish to me. I definitely try not to like. I'm proud of him. I'm proud that he's doing that for me. But I try not to like anything towards that. I just take mental notes on my end. Like, okay, so he's not okay with this, but he's okay with that. So I'll just bully that, with love. So that's on my end.
So have you come to terms with that? Like, are you okay with those?
Yeah,
really-
I'm more conscious of that. That's just who she is. That's how she was brought up. So I try not to be so soft when
Okay.
when I'm met with that.
So, like, do you still feel like it's a safe place to tell her, like, okay, because there's moments where we can't take jokes, right? Like, there's moments where there's certain things that do trigger us, and we don't have to take everything so lightly. Some things actually do become offensive after a while, right? Do you feel comfortable with telling her, like, hey, like, you took this way too far? Like, aside from that moment, has there been other moments where you've been like, this is not good with me, like, it makes me feel really uncomfortable? Can you please stop, to the point where you feel like she won't get offended?
Not that I recall. Again, I'm just more conscious of when she does make jokes, and I try to like assess, is this directed at me or is this just at the situation? And more times than not, it's the situation. She's not trying to put me down.
Okay, so as I was looking at your assessments, because of course you also emailed them to me, there's some, regarding communication, there's some inconsistencies that I would like to bring up. So it does seem like one of you guys feels like it's more easy to talk about stuff, and another person feels like it's more hard to talk about stuff. So why do you guys think that is?
I don't know. You want to go first?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the one who thinks it's more hard to talk about stuff, just because I don't want to fall into that pattern again. I don't want to come off as, oh, well, I can't do this with him, because it doesn't start a fight, but it kind of deters the other person from even like try kind of striking up a conversation. So I just, out of fear of having that happen, I kind of just let things go, where I don't bring them up. And again, I know I fall into that pattern where it builds up, but I'd rather avoid it than have it grow. I don't know, that's just how usually my stance.
So you would rather, for example, if you get in a small argument, like, you would rather just let it go than like let her let her know, hey, this bugged me.
Then dispute it, yeah.
So you would just let it slide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have another question. Are you guys religious? Do you guys believe in faith? Do you guys have like a god or some sort of faith?
I have faith, but I'm not religious.
Okay. So faith is not a strong component in your relationship, or it is?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay. So you guys are not looking for Christian counseling, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's just what I wanted to know. Okay, so regarding what we have now, I'm gonna give you guys an assignment. So this is what we're gonna do. Since you guys struggle a little bit to communicate your feelings, maybe it's like you guys mentioned, it's from this point of being afraid to hurt the other person, right? So maybe instead of saying like, hey, I'm mad because you did this, you guys could use the exercise of, okay, I'm mad at this situation. So instead of blaming it on the other person, you guys are just going to start talking about situations rather than one another. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give you that as homework. But aside from that, I would like for you guys to record yourselves. So you guys are going to have like a small argument, whichever one you guys want, because I'm pretty sure something's going to come up, right? Because it always comes up. Record yourself and argue and see how you guys do it. Don't see it. Bring it in the next session, and then we'll go over it together so that you guys see how you guys communicate with one another. Okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes.